Hello everyone, welcome to GV Ready Automation World. Right, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please go and subscribe to it for more interesting videos. Please enable notification so that you will not miss out any video from whenever I will release. Okay, then quickly today's question, topic is automation best practices for large projects. Automation best practices for large projects. Right, everyone will create projects, but what are the best practices we have to follow while creating the projects? Right, it might be any automation project. Right, any automation project. What is the best practices? Right, we will discuss one by one. Right, first thing is very important thing: project structure and organization. Right, this is very important. Right, we have to follow the structure. If it is any project, Selenium with Java, Python, right, or UFT project, whatever may be automation project, we have to follow the some structure clearly. Right, we have to follow clearly so that it's very easy to understand. Tomorrow, if you want to refer that, right, if the structure is very properly maintained, then it's very easy to where the page classes are, where the test classes are, where the utility classes are, right, it's easy to find out. Suppose if it is a Selenium Java project, right, we will follow 99% page object model. Right, why? To keep the clearer code. Right, we will clearly page classes we will maintain separately. Test if it is whatever it may be, UFT project or whatever project it may be, we have to create page factory, right, locators separately, and then test classes separate. We should not both combine actually. Right, we have to clearly structure also when we are creating the page classes. Right, we have to suppose login module. If we have a login module, multiple page classes, we will create a login. Under page factory, we have to create the multiple. If we have a multiple modules, suppose admin module, user module, right, library module, right, we have to separately create page classes under that. Right, create multiple folders and subfolders to clearly maintain the structure of it. Right, same structure we have to follow test also. Page, how we are maintaining for pages, same structure we have to follow test cases also. Right, so that it will be very helpful to configuration file in the resource folder. Right, we have to maintain other than Java files. What we will have? We will have Excel files, JSON files, maybe image files, property file, config files. There are, right, other than Java, multiple things we will have. Right, we have to keep all those things, create the folder structure clearly and maintain the files under it. Right, and then we have to use the proper naming conventions. Then only we can easily understand where the classes are, where the files are. It will be very easy to find out for everyone. First one is project structure and organization. Now use a scalable framework. Right, what it means? Right, we have to, if it is a Selenium Java project, we have to implement UI locators and then test logic, make tests more maintainable. Right, separate page factory separate and test logic separate. Whatever project it may be, right? Automation project means we will have a locators, page factory separately, test logic separate. We should not combine both. Right, if you combine both, what will happen? Right, it will become a tightly coupled project. Then in future maintenance will be very difficult. If you want to update anything, if you want to it will take a lot of time again to modify the code. Right, from starting onwards we should maintain clearly page factory separately and test logic separately, so that tomorrow if you want to add on top of it, you want to add few more page classes, few more test classes. It is very easy to scale. The scale means what? Increasing, right? We can easily increase the add the test cases, add the page factories very easily, right? We can follow hybrid framework. Mostly we will follow hybrid framework, right? Combination of any modular framework, data driven page object model with data driven, right? Multiple frameworks we will combine. If you are using BDD means use Cucumber. If it is a TDD framework, TestNG. Right, either we can use TDD framework or BDD framework. Right. Then element locators and interaction. Right, we have to use the reliable locators. What that mean? Right, we have to use the first which locators will preferred one. Right, there are multiple. We have 8 types of locators in Selenium, but which one first we have to choose which one is the that means fastest one. Right, if you use the ID, name, CSS, right, these will be some little bit fast compared to XPath. Right, so it would be better first if you have a ID, don't write XPath for it. Right, I have seen a lot of people. We can identify the locator using ID, but they will write XPath itself. Right, XPath will be it is a DOM structure, right? It will go XML DOM, entire thing it will search. It will take a little time. So first preference is we have to use the ID, CSS locators over XPath. If there is an unable to locate using those, then we have to use it anyway. But where there is a chance, we have to use the best locators. Right, instead of hard weights, right, don't use thread.sleep 100%. We have to make sure we should avoid those things, thread.sleeps. Because of those, what will happen? Time will increase. So we have to must use the explicit either WebDriver weight or fluent weight. Right, we can use those things so that our implicit weight also don't use it. Right, we don't require that. Either WebDriver weight or fluent weight we can use it. Very one more point, test data management, very important. Right, we should not hard code any test data in the project, whatever project, either UFT project or Java, C#, Python, JavaScript. We should not hard code any test data inside the code. What will happen? Today it will work. Tomorrow suppose test data is not working. Again we have to come into the code. It is very cumbersome. Right? We have to come here and verify which class we have written the hard coded value. Right? It will be time taken. Right? It will consume our most of the time. So externalize the test data. Right? Apart from our Java files or C# files or JavaScript files, we have to externalize the data. Maintain Excel, JSON, XML, CSV databases, right? Instead of hard coding. Use the data driven testing wherever required. If you want to test same test case, multiple test data, follow the data driven testing. If you are using TestNG, data provider, Cucumber means scenario outline. Right, similarly C#, there also we will have, Python also we will have. Right, we can to create the dynamic data, right, instead of hard coding we can use the libraries. Right, we will have a third party libraries to generate some random email, random string, random, right, those things we will use instead of hard coding. Right, parameterization. If you require parameter, if you want to execute on different browsers, different environments, different database, you want to parameterize, use the TestNG parameters or environment variable or configuration files. Right, we should not hard code any test data in the code itself. Right, test data management is very important. And one more is parallel and cross browser testing. Right, if you want to, right, we have created framework and it is taking a lot of time due to maybe we are executing sequential. Right, if you not writing a framework such a way that it should not support parallel execution, there is no meaning. Right? We have to write a framework, robust framework. For larger project, we must follow the robust framework. It should support parallel and cross browser. If we have a cross browser, we must support it. Right? Use the Selenium grid, right, to execute test cases parallelly. Right? Or Docker or third-party cloud tools, whatever it may be, whatever available. Right? All projects will not get everything. Either Selenium grid means we can set up, right, and Docker also we can set up it. These are all free only. Third party SaaS Labs browser stack means it will be licensed. So if we have in our company, if we have, we can use those things. Right, use parallel and cross browser testing and run in headless mode. Right, when we are running from the we must use the headless mode so that it will increase the it will increase the efficiency of the test case execution. That means it will decrease the time. CI/CD integration, right? We must integrate with the Jenkins or GitHub Actions, GitLab CI, Azure DevOps. These are all the CI. By using these, right, these things we can use the CI/CD pipeline. Jenkins, GitHub Actions, GitLab, or Azure DevOps. Right, whichever our project is feasible, we can use that. So that, right, what is the advantage of it? We can trigger automatically nightly builds. Right, we can automatically schedule it. Right, I want to nightly build. Right, we no need to manually go and trigger it. Right, we can schedule it. It will trigger automatically. It will generate report, and we can, once we start our day, we can verify what are the test case failed, why it is failed. We can fix those things. Right, that is the advantage of CI/CD. Right, and exception handling and reporting. Right, debugging. Right, very important, exception handling and debugging. Right, we must, when you are creating any method, right, when you are creating any method, we must use the exception handling try and catch block, so that whenever exception occurred in catch block, we will write a clear logging. Right, otherwise, right, what will happen when our test case failed? Again we have to debug it and verify it. Right, it will take a lot of time. Right, so if we write, while writing the test case itself, if we write a clear exception handling in the catch block, clear message why the test case is failed, right, then easily whenever failed, we can, by looking at the logs, we can easily identify and fix it. From not 100%, at least 70%, we can, by looking at the logs, we can understand the issue and fix it easily. So we will save some time. Right, use log4j. Right, we have to use either log4j, SLF4j, or logging. Right, if you want to print those logs while running from the Jenkins, right, we will not see those execution UI. Right, finally we have to verify the logs or reports. These two must be properly handled, properly printed. Then only we will understand why test case is failed. Right, instead of executing again local and debug it why it is failed, it will take lot of time. Suppose you have executed 100 test cases, 50 are failed. If you want to execute those 50 again, it will take lot of time. Instead of that, in the reports or logs, if you clearly print if we handle clearly, right, up to 50%, we can easily, by looking at the logs, we can fix those things. And one more important thing, code quality and maintainability. Code quality is very important. When we are writing code, right, avoid duplicate code. Don't write duplicate code multiple times. Write the reusable methods. Right, follow the solid principles. Solid principles means it will tell you how to write the code. Right, avoid, use the inheritance concepts. Right, parent and child. Right, write the reusable logics. Don't repeat. Right, don't duplicate anything. Right, keep the methods atomic. Each test method should be valid scenario only. Right, we have to write mostly valid scenarios only. Right, whenever we are writing test cases, don't write unnecessarily lot of test cases. Right, follow the valid scenarios, whichever, right, those things only. Use version control to manage the scripts. Right, we can use third-party tools, Coverchera tools, right, code quality tools, right, Coverchera, or there are multiple right tools will be available. Right, we can use those things, and then we can verify our code quality. It will tell us where the issues are there. Right, then performance optimization. Right, one more is performance optimization means suppose our test cases are taking lot of time to execute. Right, we can verify our test cases why it is taking longer time. Right, maybe there are hardwares will be there, or maybe right, some other unnecessary code will be there. We are unnecessarily waiting for the few elements. Right, we have to verify it, avoid unnecessary clicks and interactions to reduce the execution time. Right, distribute the test across multiple nodes. Selenium grid to decrease the performance optimization means we have to verify any hardwares are there, remove, use the dynamic weights, run the test case in, right, use the Selenium grid to run parallelly, or headless mode, use the headless mode, right, to speed up the test cases. Right, we have to take care of these. And security and compliance, right, very important. While working with a larger projects, client must, right, whenever we are using sensitive data like username, password, any tokens, we should, right, we must be very careful. Don't use directly in the code itself. Right, don't keep it. We have to either encrypt it. We have to either encrypt and keep it, and inside the code we can decrypt it. Use the right algorithms, AES encryption. Right, there are some encryption techniques are there. We can use those things, or get the data from the database if you are right. If you need more security, or pass environment variables. And don't store in logs or reports. Don't. That is very important. Don't print any sensitive data in the logs or right reports. Right, then sometimes if you want to validate anything, we can use the right API testing for backend validations. Right, and then test reporting and analytics. Right, then use the advanced reporting. Instead of TestNG default reports, we can use either right extent reports, Alluri reports. TestNG reports means it will generate very lightweight reports. Right, we can use more robust reports, Alluri and extent reports. If there is a right requirement, if you want maintain some projects, right, larger projects, they require a right history of the execution. They want to see in the previous execution how many passed, how many failed, what is the pass percentage, fail percentage, the right stability of the scripts. Then we have to use some Grafana, ELK stack or databases. We can use. We have to get the history and validate with the previous results. Right, analyze the flakiness, track the flaky test cases. That means frequently failing test cases, why they are failing, or because of environment issue it may fail due to right mostly environment stability, right, it will fail. Application is loading sometimes very slowly, right. So those scenarios we can identify, we can retry those things. Right, how to handle the flaky test cases, identify and fix unstable test cases, use the retries, right, TestNG retry mechanism, reduce the test dependencies. Right, mostly right we have to make sure that the test should be independent of it. If it is dependent means right it will be always it will right increase the execution time. It ensures, if possible, ensures write down independent test cases only. Right, these are the different right things, best practices while writing the automation projects. We have to follow these things. Right. If you like my way of teaching content presentation, just subscribe to my channel, enable notification. If you have any doubts or suggestions, please comment in the comment section. Right. Thanks for watching.